Hey everyone, it's me, Catherine, and today I'm here to talk about some of the books that I want to get to this year. Some of the books I want to read. Finally, some of the books I'm going to reread for like series purposes and shit and whatnot. So that is what we are talking about today. I do have another reading goal this year, and it is, as it has been for the last, I don't know how many years, it's 30 books. Will I reach it this year? We shall see. I don't tend to go too hard. Like, I don't push myself too hard for it. Like, if I hit it, I hit it. That's great. If I don't, it's not the end of the world. But it's just nice to have a little something to aim towards. Because occasionally it does, I do think about it. And I do think, you know what, maybe I should read a book or two. So, but these are the ones that I would like to get to. Let's get straight into this. I'm going to start with the rereads that I plan to do this year. So first up we have the Six of Crows. First up we have Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I have slowly been doing a reread of the Grishaverse. I say slowly. I think I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy fairly quickly, but I started rereading the series in preparation for the second book in the Nikolai duology, which I think I own. I don't actually remember if it's sitting on my bookshelf. I do indeed have this on my shelf. But anyway, I don't plan to get to that this year. Like, if I get to it, then that's great, but I don't think I will, considering how slowly I am reading lately. And all the books I want to get to, like, there's no guarantees I will get to it. So this I definitely want to reread, the Six of Crows. Next is Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. I read this back in 2017. I remember because I finished it not long after we moved to this house, and that was 2017. And I recall enjoying it, and I have since received the next book in that little like series, and I want to reread Labyrinth Lost just to, because I think I have it. It's in my list of books that aren't on the reread pile, so we will get to it. But I feel like that's just a companion. More of a companion, less of a direct sequel, in that it's a sequel in that it follows after the events of Labyrinth Lost, I believe, but we're following a different sister. Do I remember what Labyrinth Lost is about? I think I do. Don't ask me anybody's names. I ain't got a clue. But it's about there's a group of sisters, and one of them, she just wants to be normal. Was that it? On her birthday? She does a spell, or a ritual to take her powers away, I think. And instead, she loses all her family and she has to go travelling in another world to get them back. And on this journey, she takes her best friend, also Crush, whose name I've forgotten, and also a guy who, is he her guide? I know, someone pay me. I should do summaries for money. And it's sort of like we have a little, oh, it's one of those little love triangles. It's not actually a triangle because there's only two lines between our main character, the guide, and her friend. And I remember enjoying it. So I'm going to reread that and refresh my memory. I think I've got the main gist of it. I might have got some of the like details wrong, but the main gist of it is that she does a spell. I think it was on her birthday, or a little ritual thing, and it takes her entire family, and so she has to go searching for them. And then, it's a journey to find her family, but also a journey to learn more about herself. It's one of those things, and I enjoyed that. Okay, next we have Pride, a Pride and Prejudice remix by E.B. Zaboy. I listened to this on audiobook, I want to say like 2018, and I enjoyed it. It was narrated by, I want to say, Elizabeth Acevedo. No, I'm almost positive that was her name. That's her name. Like, she also does her own books and stuff. They're usually like really poetic, right? Aren't they? Like, they're like written, she's like, one's written in verse. I think she's done one that isn't written in verse. I've never read anything by Elizabeth Acevedo, but I really enjoy listening to her voice. And I'm pretty sure she did the audiobook for this. I will check, and editing me will correct me if I'm wrong. But this, as it would suggest, is a Pride and Prejudice retelling. And we're following, because I have the book now, I can do names back. We're following Zuri Benitez from Brooklyn, living in Brooklyn. And then a wealthy Darcy family moves in. And, it's Pride and Prejudice. It's Pride and Prejudice, but modern day Brooklyn. And again, I remember enjoying this, but I have since received the book physically and would like to reread it for myself. Can I just say, I'm not a big fan of these covers that don't, like, I love the pink. I really enjoy the pink, but I don't enjoy book covers that look like they've been cut too short. I know it's a style choice, but I hate it. But the inside's pretty. Like, the inside's pretty cool. You can tell I've not read it because it's not been broken in yet. That nice smooth spine. Oh, I don't know. It's a floppy book, so maybe the spine will stay intact. Next is another series reread, and is Truth Witch by Susan Dennett. I think I mentioned wanting to reread this a bit ago because there has since been a new book out, which I think I have the audio for, but I want to reread the series up to like, because this is a series I really enjoy, and I just want to make sure I have everything fresh in my memory for listening to the new installment. So yeah, Truth Witch, if you are unaware, it's been around on BookTube a while. It was like a few years ago, this series was. I don't know how, I'm a bit out of the loop these days, so I don't know how much people still care, but I still care a great deal. And Truth Witch is set in a fantasy world where there are witches, and we're following Sophia, who is a truth witch, and truth witches are very sought after, as you can imagine, because they can tell truth from lie, and so they are coveted. That's a word that I think means what I think it means. And she gets found. Oh, does she get found? I can't remember. Basically, she has to run for it, and she takes her friend with her. Her friend Iseult, who is a thread witch, and they run. And you know what? It's good. Then we have Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I read this many years ago. Well, I'm not saying many years ago, but I read it before we moved here, and we've been in this house like just over 5 years. So it has been years since I read this. And I reread Persuasion last year before watching the awful Netflix adaptation, which I got so mad about. And so I would very much like to reread this as well. This is the family one, right? The sisters. Eleanor is as prudent as her sister. Marianne is impetuous. Each must learn from the other after they are forced by their father's death to leave their home and enter into the contests of polite society. Okay, it only mentions 2 sisters, but I'm pretty sure there's a third one, and who was not as important, just gets sort of forgotten. But maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, it's about sisters, and I really enjoyed it when I read it. I would like to reread it. I've even read Emma twice, and I hate Emma. So I should reread the ones I actually enjoy. So, yes. Okay, next is technically a reread, but also not quite a reread. And that is No Longer Human. This is the Junji Ito adaptation of it. I have read the original. I read it a long time ago for a Japanese literature class. And I didn't think much of it, to be honest. And I haven't dared reread it since, because since reading it, my mental state has deteriorated quite a bit. So I've sort of been putting off a reread. And then I saw this and was like, you know what? Maybe if it's in pictures, it will either be 10 times worse or easier to digest. So I've had this a few years now, so it's about time I actually got to it. But honestly, even if I don't read it, this is fucking stunning. This whole thing is just stunning. It's just nice to have on my shelf, even if I never get to it. But yeah, no, so this is the Junji Ito adaptation of the novel by Osamu Dazai. I do have the novel, but I want to read this version. And then the last thing I plan to reread this year is My Hero Academia, the entire series by Kohei Horikoshi. Honestly, when I first got into My Hero, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, okay? And then I read the manga and I enjoyed it, and I was starting to keep up reading it weekly. And then at some point in 2021, for reasons I cannot pinpoint, this series consumed me, okay? It just gradually started to get under my skin, and now it lives there. I'm not going to say permanently, because it'll vacate for the next thing I'm obsessed with, but it just sort of got under there and has its claws in me, and for now is not letting go. It is not letting go, and we're getting closer to the end of the manga series. So you know what? I feel like I want to do a reread. You know, if nothing else, just because it's nice to see, to remind myself how much the characters have come, how much, how far they've come in their journey, and reminding myself of the happier times. The happier times before everything went to complete shit. when they still smiled, when there was still joy in their lives. So I plan to do that at some point. And now on to the brand new read. So these books are books that I have never read in my life, but hopefully we'll get to this year. Honestly, the idea is I'm trying to reduce my physical TBR. So let's get into it. So first up we have Bruja Born by Zoraida Cordova. This is the companion I was talking about. I'm pretty sure it follows one of the sisters. Lula. We're following Lula. Was she an older sister? When I reread Labyrinth Lost, I will absolutely know. Oh no. Oh, okay. just reading the synopsis. So we have Lula, who is feeling a little Lula Mortiz feels like an outsider. Her sister's newfound incantrix powers have wounded her in ways that Lula's Bruja healing powers can't fix, and she longs for the comfort her family once brought her. Thank the Dios for Max, her sweet, steady boyfriend who sees the beauty within her and brings light to her life. Right, seems fine. Then a bus crash turns Lula's world upside down. Her classmates are all dead, including Max. But Lula was born to heal, to fix. She can bring Max back, even if it means seeking help from her sisters and defying death herself. But magic that defies the laws of the Dios is dangerous. Dios. Unpredictable. And when the dust settles, Max isn't the only one who's been brought back. Damn! Oh, okay. I did not remember it being quite so grim. But well, okay. But no, I said it's going to be on my TBR this year, so I'm not going to back out now from a little death doesn't scare me. And next we have a couple of Agatha Christie. These are the only two Agatha Christies that I own. Right, so we have a Miss Marple and a Poirot. So we have The Body in the Library. This is the Miss Marple one. When the Bantrys wake to find the body of a beautiful young stranger in their library, Dolly Bantry knows there's only one person to call. Her old friend, Miss Marple. Who was the young girl? What was she doing in the library? And is there a connection with another dead girl whose charred remains are discovered in an abandoned quarry? Miss Marple must solve the mystery before tongues start to wag and the murderer strikes again. I don't think I watched a lot of Poirot growing up. Not watched a lot of Miss Marple. So kind of excited to get to this one because I got these not knowing which was what I was getting. I just knew I'd wanted to read more, actually read some Agatha Christie. So that's that one. And then we have the Halloween Party. At a Halloween party, Joyce, a hostile 13-year-old, boasts that she once witnessed a murder. When no one believes her, she storms off home, but within hours She's 13! But within hours her body is found, still in the house, drowned in an apple bobbing tub. That night, Hercule Poirot is called in to find the evil presence, but first he must establish whether he is looking for a murderer or a double murderer. Damn! I was not expecting the 13-year-old girl to get offed. Okay, so reading those this year. Okay, next we have Jade City by Fonda Lee. Now I hear lots and lots of good things about this book. So being the sort of person that I am, I have no idea what this is about and just got it. Jade is the lifeblood of the city of Janloon, a stone that enhances a warrior's natural strength and speed. It is mined, traded, stolen and killed for, all controlled by two families equal in their power and ruthlessness. When a modern drug emerges that allows anyone, even foreigners, to wield Jade, simmering tension between the two clans erupts into open war. Wait, clans? Families, powerful families? You know what? You've got me. I love shit like this. No, abso-fucking-lutely. An epic drama reminiscent of the best classic Hong Kong gangster films but taking place in a fantasy metropolis so gritty and well-imagined that you'll forget you're reading a book. Absolutely, I am fucking on board with this. And then the last two, we have American Street by E.B. Zaboy. I want to say this was E.B. Zaboy's debut. It is self-assured, stunning debut, yes. And E.B. Zaboy, if you remember, wrote Pride, which I really enjoyed. So wanted to get her debut and see what that's like. Okay, on the corner of American Street and Joy Road, Fabiola Toussaint thought she would finally find une belle vie, a good life. But after they leave Porto Now, is it Port-au-Prince or is it like French, like Port-au-Prince, or is it Port-au-Prince? Haiti, Fabiola's mother is detained by US immigration, leaving Fabiola to navigate her loud American cousins, Chantal, Donna and Princess. The grittiness of Detroit's West Side, a new school, and a surprising romance all on her own. Just as she finds her footing in this strange new world, a dangerous proposition presents itself, and Fabiola must learn that freedom comes at a cost. Trapped at the crossroads of an impossible choice, will she pay the price for the American dream? So this sounds like it's going to be like a little on the heavier side, like a little on the maybe not heavier necessarily, but definitely on the more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to be your light-hearted, like contemporary, like romance, like slice of life style thing. This is going to be full of a lot of feelings, I think. Not that like slice of life stuff and like contemporary can't be full of feelings, but you know what I mean. The word I'm looking for, don't know what it is. Like I use heavy as a replacement, but it's a very poor replacement for the word that I need. Like, say meaningful is not right either, because like you know what? It's gonna hit. I feel like it's gonna be a book. It's certainly gonna be a book, and I'm hopefully going to like it. And then finally we have Smash It by Francina Simone. Now I followed Francina. I've followed Francina on YouTube for a few years, so I got like real caught up in the hype when she got this book out. And actually, no, I haven't seen it. You know what? Okay, it's just plain. I feel like this is going to be like, I've got quite a few like, I don't want to say like heavy hitters, but definitely there's a lot of murder in there, a lot of feelings in there, a lot of like other emotions than happy. This feels like it's going to be fun and like warm and lighter than what I currently have. Honestly, when I picked these out, the rereads, I knew what I was getting into. These ones, less so, but this is gonna be fun. But this is about a girl who, at some point, just says fuck it, and she makes herself a list. Like a fuck it list? Yeah, a fuck it list. And, like, it's her, I guess, going through the list, making mistakes, learning from those mistakes, and just, I guess learning to live her life, because how old is she? Oh, junior year. I don't know how old that is. Is that a high school thing? Why didn't you just tell me what year you're in? I mean, I guess you did tell me what year you're in, junior year. That means nothing to me. But no, yeah, so we just have like going through this list, and I guess just learning more about herself and like growing as a person, and just like having a good time hopefully with it. There we go. Those are some of the books I hope to get to in 2023. I think I can do it. You know what? I'm feeling motivated. I mean, it's January. I've got plenty of months for that motivation to drain from me. But for now, I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling ready to read again. I'm feeling in a better headspace. You know what? I've just realised I've been off my meds a whole year. No, I've been off my medication a whole year. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling good about myself. I've just realised that, and I'm feeling very proud of myself that, because coming off my medication was an accident due to mistakes on my part and then delays on the pharmacy's side. Just ended up with me not getting my meds for like a month and then just deciding to see where that went. And it's been a whole year. And I'm very proud of that. And I've just realised. I'm hoping 2023 is going to be a decent reading year for me, a better reading year than last year. I mean, to be honest, it's not been a bad reading year. I've just been, again, I don't want to stop reading fanfic, but I would like to read more actual, like, books this year. So, that's it. Let me know what your reading plans are for 2023, if you have any, like, what books you, like, maybe just one book that you actually definitely want to get to this year. Like, if there's only one book that you could read that you want to read for the year, like, let me know what that is. As always, all my appropriate links will be in the description below, like socials and such. My Twitch is also down there if that's something you're interested in. My Ko-fi is down there as well if you would like to support me that way. But apart from that, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day wherever you are, and I will hopefully see you in another video. Bye!